God damn it.
Off to an amazing start.
I hate when you I hate when you fucking pull the headphones out of your ear. The worst is when you're working out and the barbell gets caught on the headphones and it jacks it down, pulling on your earlobes of it.
That makes me cringe. Oh.
That's as bad as someone tugging on your nut hairs.
It's a little worse, actually.
That'd be like getting your balls caught on the fucking barbell going down. How that's going to happen, I'm not too sure, but you never know. Hello, welcome to the Old Man Orange podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan Dunigan.
I'm Kaiden Grossi.
I guess the key thing we've learned when we have guests, just don't fucking introduce them, just let them say their name. Because every single time we go we'll say they're and it'd be everybody's blah, blah,
Harley Summerbright. Yeah, it just comes in oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, no, then sometimes we just be this long pause, just kind of looking at each other you gonna fucking say it? Oh, I thought you were gonna
time now.
Do I need the poker stick?
Someone tell me what to do.
But yeah.
Well, this weekend's been a very marvelous weekend for the fact that you had Deadpool come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally marvelous. Because really, it's there was a lot going on in the Deadpool movie. When you think about it, that movie is saying, hey, we can finally do our rated R superhero movies once again. Because I was trying to think back, this including just, any random comic, as far as a superhero Marvel DC movie, was the last rated R one Punisher Warzone?
Punisher or was it Watchmen?
Was that after...
it was either that or it was Watchmen.
Yeah, I think it was Watchmen or Warzone.
Or they might have even been the same year, but... That almost was the last one, and that's right before, what's that, 2008 or 9?
9, I think.
2009, yeah.
So, it's been 6 years just about since we've had a rated R superhero movie that wasn't, either some small indie comic or something, it's important. It's got either the Batman in it or the Superman or the Spider-Man.
Something some art school student gives a fuck about, I don't know.
Yeah, if it doesn't have a Stan Lee cameo, I don't know if you really count it.
Honestly,
except for there's not one in, I don't think, any of the Punisher ones. But
oh, that's right. That is one he's not in. But I was saying, Stan Lee, his cameo in Deadpool was just...
That was badass.
It was so funny.
Well, for a while, he was only a cameo in movies, in the movies of the characters he created or co-created. Then I think Captain America was the first one. He's just come on, I'm the closest fucking thing we got to Jack Kirby, So he's all right, just get on in there, because Captain America was plus the first comic I think he worked on when he first got his job at Marvel. So, and yeah, and since then though, it's been nearly every Marvel movie he's been popping in. But was he in? He maybe sometimes he's in there. You expect him, sometimes you don't even notice him. Was he in the last X-Men movie, Days of Future Past?
I don't think he was, because I remember because I watched that one again when they had the Rogue Cut come out, and I didn't see him in there, and I was yeah, he's not in this one. Was he in the Fantastic Four one that came out? Fantastic Four?
I didn't bother. I didn't bother to go and see it because it just looked god awful. I didn't want to waste my money, my time, and my brain.
Okay,
so I
will say that it's one of those movies. It's not the worst thing you've ever seen, and it's one of those ones. If there was never another Fantastic Four movie that existed before it, it would be decent. But that's not saying that it's an amazing movie. Yeah, I'm not really saying it's good. It's maybe 2.5 out of 4. It has some interesting stuff in it. Strangely enough, it starts off better than it sort of peters in.
Really?
The beginning part when they're kids actually is the best part of the movie. I thought that sounded weird saying that, but
a little.
It's very Spielbergish. The very beginning of the movie is very Spielbergish, and then they're all just kind of hanging out doing the sciencey stuff. And ironically enough, as weird as it sounds, when they're not doing all the superhero shit, which isn't until the last 15 minutes of the movie. That awesome. Is actually some of the best stuff. Probably, I actually liked the movie for the first 30 minutes. Then as it went on, I was it's whatever. Yeah, just okay.
Because after that, the only downfall is it retraces the same thing that the original Fantastic Four movie did, and then the early 2000s one did. So,
I wonder if Josh Trank was oh, so Stan, you want the cameo? He's listen, true believer. I believe in a lot of things. I don't know about this. Okay, so. I don't know. I put my name to a lot of shit. I don't know about this one right here,
Don't ruin
let me say this. I'm doing a Deadpool movie, and I gotta be a stripper DJ. Josh, if you got something better than that, you let me know.
Sink that. Let that sink in for a minute.
All right, Stan. All right.
I put my name to Stripperella, okay? I did that shit. So, roll that around in your head for a minute. I like that Michael B. Jordan kid. Beyond that, I don't know what the fuck's going on with this movie.
And when I say I like him, I mean I like Creed. not your movie.
The movie's not even out yet. I got an early screening. I'm friends with Stallone. Fuck you. But no, like Deadpool though, that movie was. I mean, I'm not gonna bury the lead. I thought that movie was fucking awesome because I was kind of waiting. I was a little nervous for the movie because when a movie has this much hype built up, and a lot of the times you're like, this is like one of the first big, like, you know, we're trying something different. Not always, but sometimes that just falls flat on its face. It seems to be like a half and half kind of thing. This one though, I thought it totally just fucking nailed it.
I thought so too. Like, I think that the comedy was good. They did the character well. The action was good. But I will say, this is my only complaint. And this kind of goes with, like, other movies of this time period. The only thing that bothered me in it is that the trailer sort of told you everything that happened in the movie. You know, you knew the characters. You knew the storyline. You knew that there was going to be a little bit of an origin thing, and then he was going to be doing a revenge thing. You kind of saw all this there, and then the movie obviously, you know, puts in this gap in between and puts in comedy and so on. But the downfall of that is there was no surprise in the movie. That was my only kind of complaint, is because I knew Colossus was in there. You knew the other chick was in there. You knew that Deadpool had his girlfriend in there. You knew that Middle Eastern taxi cab driver was in there. I mean, everybody was there. And the whole time in the movie, I'm just kind of like, they're obviously going to have Wolverine. They've only said him like so many times. Like, he's got to be in here as a cameo. And then Wolverine's not in it.
The biggest surprise, I think, of the whole movie was seeing Deadpool's dick. I think that that caught me off guard.
I was like,
I was sitting there and I was like, fire. Oh, cool. I was like, oh, that's a dick.
Crispy dick, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, just hanging down.
I thought it was kind of funny. I'm not sure. Maybe it was one of those things where, because usually that movie was trying to go for a lot of like shock value. I'm not even sure if that part was trying to go for a shock value. I think it was like, well, it's hard to record an action. It's hard to film an action scene when one dude's naked, so without showing the dick at some point. So I'm wondering if that was like, this is gonna gross people out, let's fucking do it, or if it was just kind of like, oh, it just happened to be there, because there was no like, people were making out to be, because I heard like an early review of that, and people were making out to be like, you see his dick right in the screen. It's like, oh, it's a distant shot. If you're looking for it, you see it. So I'll feel a little bad. I'll admit, yeah, I was looking for it. Like, oh, there's
of course I was looking for it. He's fucking naked. I knew there was gonna be dick.
Yeah, he's done.
If Ryan Reynolds' dick's hanging out in the movie, who's not gonna be fucking looking?
You look forward to that.
I know it might be like a CG version, but you know, fuck, I'm not.
It's Ryan Reynolds' dick, so it's not gay, you know.
Exactly. So, but it wasn't like one of those ones. Like, it was kind of there. Like, you probably would never see that if you watched the movie at home. It would never catch it because it would.
Just imagine like some John Madden replay, like replaying it. There it is, like circling it, like pointing it.
There's a dick, and you can
swinging from left to right.
You can actually see a hand come out and push the dick up. Just like in Jurassic Park.
Like the fucking raptor head.
But no, but that was my only kind of complaint though, is like, even though I really liked it, but just kind of watching the trailer, and I think that's the downfall, is a lot of trailers nowadays, they make like the short version of the movie. They almost go like, hey, you might not have time to watch it, but you can watch this trailer.
We got you, don't worry.
In 2.5 minutes, you will at least know what everything's going on.
It's and I kind of feel the abridged version.
It's kind of like Terminator 5, you know. It's that thing. It's like, you maybe should have kept John Connor hidden. Like, don't say he's the bad guy in the movie.
That'd have been so much better.
You know,
it's a great movie. But
I love the movie, but I think that would have made the experience just fantastic. You would have shown me like, the fuck, John Connor's the bad guy. You know, and sort of like in this movie, I think it's cool that you have Colossus and stuff in the trailer, but I almost feel that Colossus should maybe have not been in the trailer, even though I know it works well in the trailer. But just to keep, as I said, there's just. That's all I was missing, was just that surprise of just being like, oh, fuck, like he's in this movie, or...
Well, my problem was that they picked that Negasonic whatever emo bitch, who...
Nobody knows about.
As a character, has a quarter issue, maybe? But anyway, I didn't think, why not put, like, Domino or Psylocke in there? That would have been fucking awesome. But...
Domino is actually... I mean, cut you off, man. Domino is actually she's girlfriend.
That's Copycat.
Oh, I thought that was Domino. That's not Domino,
No.
the girlfriend?
No.
Oh, okay.
Copycat is his girlfriend, and that's another thing that bothered me. You didn't get to see anything of her powers or anything like that come out in the movie. It's just damsel in distress, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She fucks Ryan Reynolds in the ass, and that's about the coolest part of her character. But beyond that, I was bummed because I was like, oh, sweet. Like, they meet, she's a hooker, just like in the comics, and you're going to see her be Copycat. Well, they went and fucked that one. But hopefully, Deadpool 2, they'll bring that out, kind of let her blossom as a character.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully.
I assumed that like what was going to happen because I thought she was Domino, but I guess yeah, you said she was Copycat. I assumed what was going to happen. I mean, all right, so we should probably say that by this point we haven't spoiled anything too major about the movie, but spoilers.
Well, spoiler: Ryan Reynolds' dick.
Ryan Reynolds' dick.
Ryan Reynolds' dick. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds' dick.
But, could be a
stuntman
dick for all we know, but we're just going to assume it's right. Just like how
could have been some Jim Henson of
in fucking Doors,
some Jim
not
Henson
Val
effects.
Kilmer's ass in the movie. It's some stunt ass. It told me that in the special features. That's how I know. Not like I creepily went up and asked Val Kilmer one day.
Hey, Val. Got a nice ass. Well, that's not mine.
Leaving notes at his
Well, that's a
door.
disappointment.
Can I get my $7 back? But no, there was shit. What was it? I assumed that like when she was inside the like tube thing at the end of the movie, I assumed that like that was gonna unleash her power or something. Like she would have turned into Deadpool because they said it would like has different effects on different people. So I assumed it would be something like it would do something to her. Like I assumed like at the time I was assuming she was gonna be Domino. So I was assuming she was gonna suffocate and turn blue, and then something like that would happen. But I guess like you said, she's Copycat. So, but. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll do something with her. I'll say that even though she was the damsel in distress, she was at least like really fucking funny, way better than kind of like the usual damsel in distress character.
Oh no, yeah. Well, because this is what makes the movie so good. The comedy is so fucking spot on.
Superior.
It's hilarious all the way through, and then the action.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. The other thing that's kind of weird though is like this movie to me, it feels almost like it's a 2-act movie.
Yes.
Because there's really only 2 things. It's just like there's sort of like the flashback origin, and then there's like the revenge movie. I guess you could almost break it up and say, well, there's sort of 3 acts, but it's almost like when you kind of catch Deadpool at the beginning, he's pretty much like going towards the final battle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like it's like a Tarantino almost. It's like very end, and let's start back at the beginning, and then
but I do like the way they do it.
He's like, no, you're caught up. Moving on.
I do like how they kind of, instead of just, they could have edited that movie where it just started out and just progressed all the way up, and then halfway into the movie, we finally get Deadpool in the costume, and then it carries on like a traditional superhero movie would have done. But I think it's smart to kind of do okay, here's Deadpool. Okay, we get that out of the way. Now let's go back and see how he got there. Now here's some more Deadpool. Now let's see how he got farther there, and then so on. Like, I thought that was a better way to do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I loved T.J. Miller as Weasel. That motherfucker was so goddamn funny. They made a fantastic choice going with him.
No, he was
most of the Daredevil run I've read. Weasel's not really a big part of it. I mean, I know not Daredevil, Deadpool. I don't know. They dressed him red. They start with D. No, it's most of the Deadpool comics I've read, Weasel's been in there, but not that much. It's usually Bob, and
I was glad Bob was in the movie though, because I was afraid he was not going to be in there.
Because he's a member of Hydra, but the fact that he got him in there for a second, as quick as it was,
so
like
cool.
Bob, Wade, he just like punches him out. How's your wife doing? He's dragging him away. I hope we get Bob in a parrot suit at some point, and he just like, this is my teaching stick, Bob.
And the next one's just there the whole time and just gets the shit stick of the whole movie.
He's just like his like Robin who just drags around with him and just beats him whenever he acts up. Or just says something he doesn't agree with.
I really think that
Damn it, Bob.
That's like my favorite stuff in the Deadpool comics is just him like torturing this poor guy who wants to be his sidekick.
Well, the new ones, it starts off with him killing dead presidents. He gets Agent Preston or whatever of S.H.I.E.L.D. trapped in his head, and it's like the new version of Bob is a poor soul that he just tortures the shit out of because she's locked in there with him, and then you see all the really fucked up jerking off and whatnot, and she has to sit there, witness it, and be powerless. It's hilarious. It really is.
It sounds sad for a moment.
It was sad, but it's Deadpool. Nothing's sad.
I'll be honest. There's like a few moments. Like I mean, don't get me wrong. I loved this movie, but there's a few like I thought the whole time is be going for laughs. But the few genuine moments, like genuine like sad or harsh moments in the movie, actually do hit pretty hard because the whole movie's lighthearted throughout the most time. Even though people are getting cut in half and all that the whole time, there's the part where he actually leaves Vanessa, and you actually feel kind of bad for her right there. And you know, even though you see how fucked up they both are, they kind of work for each other. Just like how they have that, you see their whole relationship. There's the whole montage of them just fucking. It's like Happy Chinese New Year. They're all like in Chinese garbs fucking. Like it's like Happy Women's Rights Day. She's like fucking him in the ass with the dildo, and then like they just pop. They're at some point they're just both wearing sweaters reading. Happy Lent, you know. But then you get to the part where, and then like when he's actually getting tortured, there's still some funny stuff
sad.
In there.
That was sad.
But then you actually see the process of him just actually transforming. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, actually freaking out. It's like, oh wow, this movie does have a moment or two like that.
Well, that's what I like too. Is it's like it's not just all just like a slapstick comedy. It travels well. You know, you can have these emotional scenes, you can have this great action, you can have this comedy, and you could still take the character of Deadpool serious. Because it's not there to the point where he's running around with 3 voices in his head, not having any idea what the hell's going on, like a lunatic. It's almost like it's like pre-Deadpool. He's still funny, still got these moments, but he's still kind of like a person.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Like if they did have left brain or right brain, I think it may have been thrown off. And even though I do like reading left brain and right brain, and then whatever Wade says out loud, you know. But I understand for the first movie, just kind of keeping it just like him talking to the camera.
Well, because I feel if you did that, it would have been a little too much for the audience that doesn't know anything about Deadpool.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been a lot to take in. Wait, what? He's got 2 other voices in his head, you know? I mean, I will say in the Deadpool video game, like that was the first time I think I heard it out loud, because I don't think in the animated stuff he didn't have like the left and right brain, but in the game did, and it worked perfect in that one.
All right, hypothetical situations, me really nerdy ass question, but if you guys, I'm assuming if they did eventually get left brain and right brain in in Deadpool, like the movie or the next movie, I imagine they would get probably some either big actors or 2 like favorite voice actors.
Patrick Stewart and Dane Cook. I don't know why.
I like the Dane Cook one because I've always thought that Dane Cook is this really great actor, but he never gets any recognition. Yeah. Whenever he's in movies, he's always like fucking like the 10th one on the list. Like he's in The Waiting, and that's like probably the time where Dane Cook's probably at his like pinnacle. And like he's really just a side character in it. I like how he makes the Ryan Reynolds joke in that one too. He's like, or maybe it's in the special features. He says this. He's like, they got the guy that looks like me to be the main character. Which I like when you see it, like, dude, they do actually look kind of the same. But I think Dane Cook, for the fact, once again, looks like Ryan Reynolds. That'd be a perfect one for the comedy part.
Oh god, yeah, that'd be perfect.
And Patrick Stewart, the only downfall is since he's Xavier already.
Yeah,
but they can make a note about that.
If you got you could either do that, or if you got somebody who's like Patrick Stewart,
Morgan Freeman.
Oh wow,
yeah.
How do you get? Mine's a little different, but I still think they could work. I'm thinking Justin Roiland of Rick and Morty, and then John C. Benjamin from Archer.
Ooh, I think John C. Benjamin would be really good.
That would be. I think that would fit the whole Deadpool universe a lot well. Just because every time I'd hear that, I'd be like, "Fucking Archer." God damn it.
Because I think John C. Benjamin would be like. I think he could do kind of like the crass kind of like snobby kind of voice, kind of like how he does with Archer right there, you know? And then like, you know, Justin Roiland, any off the wall voice he does in Rick and Morty, you know? So
no, yeah, that'd be pretty good.
But I think Patrick Stewart and Morgan Freeman both be good choices. Same with Dane Cook. They could even have jokes about that. But one of the funniest bits, I mean, there's so many, this movie, it's like the whole thing's pretty good. There's only one part that it doesn't even stop the movie. It's just kind of one part that's just kind of like, that seemed generic, but maybe you could say it was intentional just because it was, you know, trying to be a satire on superhero movies. The very beginning when they first introduced Ajax and the mob, that you see some kind of deal just happen and Ajax lifts the guy by his neck, drops him, he's like, fucking mutants. Like that part, not that part was even like god-awful. That's probably just like the slowest, less creative part of the whole movie. I mean, it was necessary, but it wasn't like, it didn't ruin the movie for me at all. I think that's how good the movie is. Like that part at the beginning, just get out of the way. Everything else is just fine with me for the most part. You know.
I'm trying to think which part that.
Where he meets up, they're in like a shipping yard, and Ajax grabs the guy by the throat and
Lifts
drops
him
him,
up.
walks away.
Oh yeah. Well, because the one thing I kind of have fear too is like I was afraid that the sort of like the Wade Wilson parts just by himself might slow it down a bit.
That
But
was actually
they
great.
all worked. They
That
all
was
worked.
fantastic. I have a hard spot.
Because they're funny at least.
Wait,
They're
that
even.
came out wrong. Or did it?
I creepily comes up closer to him. I also feel so bad for that poor like Indian taxi cab driver guy,
God.
where he's like, "Okay, that would be $32, Mister
A crisp
Poole."
high five.
Oh, okay, I'll take that. I'm like, well, I remember what happened to Ernest when like he just let somebody get off. He lost his fucking job. I'm surprised that taxi cab driver was able to come back.
He says, "How about 2 high fives this time?" You know, and then like it's also a lot of the little small things, like like the stupidest small shit is the stuff that makes you laugh. Like when you see Deadpool like sitting in the back of the cab. Like I think the whole part with the cab driver in the trailer they should have left out because the movie itself was so awesome. Because he was just sitting there and just when he saw like the brochures to the haunted Segway ride, he looks at it and then puts it in his pocket. It's just stupid shit like that, you know.
you're like, dude, I'm fucking going to this.
I think the best part of the taxi was when the cab driver kidnaps his brother, or whatever, and Deadpool's like, "You let him go, fucking kill him." And he's like, "This is wrong. This is fucking amazing." The whole time I was just crying in the theater. It was perfect.
I feel like Ryan Reynolds is almost is going to sound like, oh fuck you, don't stop, don't limit me to this, but I think Ryan Reynolds is almost born to play Deadpool because I cannot.
Absolutely.
I mean, other times I've seen Deadpool, it's like, oh, that's okay, but this one, I just the whole time was like,
God.
oh,
I'll
fuck,
say this: when he played Wade Wilson originally,
I was excited
he
until they
was
showed
fucking great
Weapon X.
in Wolverine.
That was weird.
Like, I mean, I know they kind of went for an older style of Deadpool, which I guess was once like you don't always need to pull from sometimes some things that are so old that nobody really remembers it. You know?
All.
Yeah. Sometimes there's a point where it's like, well, that's sort of like this is another one I thought that was kind of weird. I remember that like in some of the reviews of Green Lantern, people complained because they chose Hal Jordan and not the original Green Lantern. And it was like,
Really?
fuck that.
well, it's just kind of those ones like nothing wrong with Scott, whatever his name is.
Alan Scott. No one remembers Alan Scott.
Like that character's that. I mean, if you're making like Green Lantern 3 and you had that guy appear, or he appeared in fucking Flash or something like that,
that'd be so cool.
that'd be totally badass. I'm not saying anything against that character, but it's kind of like.
Like,
The Green Lantern that everybody knows is Hal Jordan. Well, some people also complain too, like, why is it fucking Hal Jordan, not Jon Stewart? Only fucking kids nowadays know Jon Stewart. I'm like, well, you got to kind of have Hal Jordan to have Jon Stewart. I mean, like,
it's a build-up.
Yeah.
Hell, put them all in there. If it's just gonna piss, just put every single Green Lantern in one fucking movie.
I mean, I think that's the next one's gonna do. Sorry, go ahead, man. I cut you off.
Oh no, I was just saying I really liked how they made fun of Wade Wilson in Wolverine with the action figure.
Oh yeah,
That was so great.
I like that. That was funny.
My darkest moment just cuts the action figure.
The only part about Deadpool as just his character and his skills, the one part I really wish they would have kept, and they had it in Wolverine, is his ability to teleport. I thought that'd been really cool to bring in. I know it's kind of outlandish for this movie, but I feel like it would have really rounded him off because he mentioned his magic satchel, which was really cool. It was like the first fight scene where he's like, "Oh, I was like 12 rounds or whatever," and I was like, "That's amazing! I bet no one caught that." Because that's one of his cool little handy belts thing.
Yeah, because he got the teleport belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's cool having that. But yeah, if he was able to teleport, I think it'd be really cool. But hopefully.
Once again, I think that just falls under like, because it's
Too
not
much.
like, I'm not saying like they played it safe, but they just didn't want to overload the, like the regular audience with too much stuff.
Because, I mean, he's a crazy ass character, and I think people are already kind of weirded out by him. But I think if you give people more Deadpool that soon, I think it might kill it, but then I also think it might explode and become really popular. But that's one of those things you just have to wait and see. And I don't think they're willing to take that risk.
Well, here's the thing. I want to ask all you guys this. When you went to the theater, I was surprised at one, how many people were there at
Mhm.
fucking first day at 7 o'clock. And secondly, I was surprised by the age range. Because that was the only thing.
Yeah.
Because whenever the Deadpool trailer would come on when I was watching other movies for like the last couple months, there'd be old people in the back be like, that is fucking stupid, you know? Like,
Old
Fuck
people
you
like
too,
yelling that
Grandma.
shit out.
go fuck yourself. I
My-
want my money back. The movie hasn't even started yet. I want my money back because of this goddamn fucking trailer. Like, people were getting, like, pissy. I'm like, dude, that was the only thing. I was like, this Deadpool movie's only going to appeal to people 20 to 30 years old, maybe 40, if they're cool enough.
My dad, though, he hates comics. He's man's man, thinks it's just for little nerds and girls and whatnot. Whatever. But I showed him the second trailer in the cab. He wants to go see it tomorrow. He's like, can we go? He's like, what time are you coming back? And I was like, wow, you're like 60. You want to go see this? He's like, fuck yeah, dude. This looks awesome. I was like, oh, okay. But I think between the comedy and the action and Ryan Reynolds' dick, I think it appeals to everybody. It's a family movie.
Well,
It's a
dude,
family
it
movie,
literally
is what it is.
was a family movie because there was the age range at my theater was from 5 to like 95. It was fucking weird.
That is kind of
I don't think
weird.
I've ever seen that in other Marvel movies
Oh,
or
fuck
anything
no.
else. It was so strange. It was just like there was all these little kids like in Deadpool fucking like costumes and shirts and stuff. I was like,
Chitty fucking chungus, mom!
they're like, Johnny, would you want a chimichanga and a Ryan Reynolds dick to put around your neck?
What, like it's a fucking Vietnam necklace?
Yeah, like I saw Deadpool and survived. But it was weird, yeah, because I mean, there was all walks of life. I mean, there was fucking people in their walkers coming in and being like, before I die, I gotta see the Deadpool. I didn't know Clint Eastwood was doing another fucking Dirty Harry movie.
Is that the one where Liam Neeson's the director? The Deadpool?
I think, so that's the one thing about the Dirty Harry movies, even though I've seen them all, I always get them confused by the titles. I want to say the Deadpool's the very last one that has Guns N' Roses in it.
Yeah, that's the Liam Neeson one.
Yeah, and it's got Jim Carrey in the beginning and everything.
Before he was Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Liam Neeson's.
But I always get the titles. But yeah, I remember when I first saw that, I was like, oh, Deadpool. You know, I guess it's not like the comic. Not like the one where Dirty Harry fights Deadpool.
I like that part when he it's so cliche, but the movie's aware of it. He says like, it looks like you lost the Deadpool. Looks like the Deadpool. Looks up. That's it. That's the name. Captain Deadpool. He's like, no, just go with Deadpool.
All right.
Sounds like a
cool,
franchise.
that was cool though how they made his name. Like he got his name from the rehabilitation center for all like the Weapon X subjects. So that they had the same idea, just put it in the bar.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool that they still have the same idea, just put it something where it's more understandable.
Mhm.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. And that bar is in the comics, I believe. Is it the whole gold card thing? Like it's not like a major thing, but I think it's probably popped up a few times.
It might have. Probably
Yeah,
has.
maybe.
I can't remember reading it.
I've read a lot of the newer ones.
That's primarily what I've read. Like probably from Suicide Kings up, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
The other thing that I really liked in this too, because this has been like one of the only problems I've had with the X-Men movies throughout time, is that the characters
So serious.
never have fucking accents.
Oh god,
They
Colossus
never
was
do.
perfect.
And then Colossus, they did him so fucking good in this one. They did Colossus like perfect. And I'm not saying all the other guys that played Colossus, I like them. I think they're good actors. They played it fine. But it obviously wasn't their choice. It was, whoever's directing it and producing it and so on said, no fucking accents. I hate people with fucking accents. If somebody shows up here, what about Patrick Stewart? He's got an accent. He's fucking Patrick Stewart.
You shut up.
But I remember, like, the one thing about me, like, first class, like, Banshees doesn't got his fucking Scottish accent. What the bullshit is this?
That
Yeah.
one really, really bummed me out. I was like, oh.
I know that
Alright,
that
whatever.
sounds like it's kind of like a small complaint. Because here's the thing: I like all the X-Men movies, but that's sort of like it's the worldly aspect of what makes X-Men. You know what I mean? Like where other superheroes, you got the Spider-Man world. It's all people in New York, so you don't
Yeah.
expect anything but somebody being like, "Hey, Spider-Man, you're a fucking hero. Give me a fucking hot dog here." Like that's like the most amount of accent you expect. Same with Daredevil and Punisher and all that stuff. But in X-Men, like, what's the fucking whole X-Men thing? After you get, your main characters that all exist in fucking Spider-Man New York land, You get, Wolverines from Canada, Storms from Africa, Colossus from Russia. You got the Red Tornado guy. Or no, that's from fucking... What's the guy's name? There's the Asian guy. They never use him anymore because I feel like they're like, he's Asian. Like... well, whatever. So you have this whole world of heroes. And then, in the movies, nobody has a fucking accent. Except for Patrick Stewart. He's the only one who's got a fucking accent.
Fucking Patrick Stewart.
And I guess Magneto's still got an accent too.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
They're both British. But.
British bad guy, British good guy, so they balance each other out to break that cliche.
But so Colossus though, they had perfect. He had the thick accent, and some people might say it's like a stereotypical Russian accent. I'm like, yeah, but the thing about stereotypical things is that's because so many people talk like that. Like that's how we picture Colossus. That's how we talk in the cartoon show. That's how we talk in the video games. That's what I want to hear.
Here's a funny little thing. They originally went to the guy that played Colossus in the last few movies, and I think it's always been the same guy. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's been the same guy.
And it has been. For some reason, I thought that like the one that was in X-Men 2 wasn't the same one that was in like Days of Future Past.
I think it's
a young guy.
The guy.
Yeah, younger days.
I think the guy who's been in number 3 in Days of Future Past is the same guy at least. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's the case. But they actually went to that guy. They said they want to make him CG the whole time, though. He's just like, no, I don't want to be in the movie. I'm going to just be CG the whole time. Well, I think after this movie, I mean, I don't know. I'm no Fox producer. But after this movie, I could see them. We don't need you. We got this character guy right here. We just got a voice actor. He's a little cheaper. We got this CG thing that all the kids like. So, yeah, so long.
Yeah, I mean, like, I will say, that was kind of a weird thing where he never turned back to, like, normal.
I kind of liked it, though.
But I will say, like, I guess it's kind of like a Hulk thing. You're just kind of like, well, yeah, it's not like, sorry, Lou, you can't come out here and, run around, but you can voice him. You can voice him,
Well, in the comics, he didn't transform. He was always Silver in the comics, right?
No, he transformed back and forth.
He did? Okay. I didn't read that. I read a lot of Deadpool. I don't read a lot of X-Men. Okay.
And, like, in the cartoon show, he turns back and forth. And how he originally got his power is because he was out in the Russian fields with his sister, and a tractor was coming at her, and he stood in front of the tractor, and that's when he turned into the Colossus. And broke the tractor, and then the guy got pissed off and tried to sue him, but he was a poor Russian guy. No, that suing part's not there. Your son fucking broke my tractor!
That's why he had to flee the motherland?
But yeah, just that Colossus though, he was just done so well. It was just like, do more of that. Like that is, you literally, like, when I see that to me, it's almost like the Deadpool movie. When I see Colossus there, that's the most X-Men feel movie of them all, and it's only got one fucking main, like, classic X-Men character. I mean, Deadpool's classic too, but he hasn't been there nearly as long as Colossus and stuff.
Even the line he has, though, it's just like, when he walks in, it's such a big mansion, but I always see 2 of you around here. It's like the others didn't want to be here or something.
They can't afford more.
I liked how they addressed it, though, because at first, that was about the point when I was kind of getting like, okay, are they not going to show any other X-Men? But when they said that, it almost kind of, it relieved me inside. Like, okay, at least they're aware of it, Mm-hmm. It's not just like, hey, because in a sense, the Deadpool movie, when you look at it, though, it's not really that expensive a movie compared to, like, they didn't put the money like they put in, like, Days of Future Past or something like that. Or even, I'd say, even the Wolverine movies. It felt like maybe Fox wasn't, like, expecting it to be as big as it was,
Mm-hmm.
Which, it's great that it's already made, like, $50 million.
They're trying to break 120 this weekend.
Like, it's going to be pretty impressive for just, like, a solo kind of superhero movie. Especially with, like, a character that
no one...
Well, because that it literally was a gamble, though, for the fact that it's like, yeah, a lot of people like Deadpool. That's one of those characters that's risen up in popularity, but really only in, I'd say, about the last 5 years. Yeah, he's been around a lot longer than that, but it seemed like a long time ago, nobody really knew who Deadpool was. Like,
I'll say... Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, it felt like... Wouldn't you say about 8 years ago or so, if you asked generally people on the street who Deadpool was, nobody knew who he was. I would even say even like 4 years ago, it's probably hard to find it. But just in those last few years, he seems to start appearing everywhere. You go in a store, there's like 5 Deadpool t-shirts.
Fucking Comic-Con, Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah, more people dress up as Deadpool than anything else.
And, like, I'll say, like, within the last 2 years, it's one of those things, if I go walking into town, and if I'm looking for it, I can see at least one random person wearing a Deadpool t-shirt. no matter regardless of age or whatever. I can see just like I saw like some guy in his 50s the other day wearing a Deadpool t-shirt, and this is before the movie was even out, and it wasn't even like movie Deadpool, it was literally comic book Deadpool. So it's one of those things that I bet that like they're like, all right, well, we already have the internet audience. So I feel like that because the internet, maybe that's how people found out about him a lot more, and he's a lot more of a bigger character now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it's one of those things. I think once people actually saw the trailer, because you said you saw a lot of negative reaction when you went went to the movies. I never
From
saw that, but I mean,
citizens, of course, but
yeah. But I actually showed the second show to my dad, and he doesn't really give a fuck about this stuff, and he laughed. He was laughing the whole time.
Huh? So I guess there's obviously more people that. Oh, clearly there was way more people that were into it than I thought. Because that was my only fear. Is I'm like, I just expected that movie to be one of those ones where you went in and the only thing you saw was people from age 20 to 35. Like that was my fear. That was the only people who were going to be in there. Since it's a rated R movie, you're not going to get any kids. But no, it was like, as I said, there was fucking like there was 5-year-old kids in there, Deadpool hat on, Deadpool Leatherman jacket, and it's just like, okay, I guess we've reached the age of finally cool parents to just let their kids go to anything. Next thing you know, it'll be screening a Clockwork Orange, and there'll be a bunch of like 8-year-olds running around.
I remember seeing a little kid like going to see Kick-Ass 2, and I don't mean like, oh, he's like 15 or whatever. I mean like literally little kid like 8 or 9, and he's wearing a Kick-Ass t-shirt.
All you can say is like, must have cool parents.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I can't wait, Mom, I can't wait. And it's like that movie has like fucking in a bathroom stall, cocaine. McLovin gets his dick bitten off.
That's right. He does get his dick bitten off. I
Yeah.
forgot about that. Oh,
Post
poor
credit
McLovin.
scene.
I actually watched that movie not too long ago, the second one again.
Mm-hmm.
And like I calculate, because I remember the only thing is like those movies both have like kind of like a problem, and the second one's like they make like Hit Girl just kind of like the shitty character in that one, but it's only 3 scenes though. That's all it is. It's 3 scenes. Now, those scenes aren't like short scenes, but that's all it is.
Mm-hmm. The second one definitely is better. The first one I still like. I mean, I think they're both good movies, but they're not perfect. And
Yeah, they're
really when it gets down to it,
good movies, but
go
with
ahead.
flaws.
Mm-hmm. But I'll say that Deadpool, though, I just can't get enough of that movie. I'm gonna probably see that movie again because I usually it's one of those things like, oh, if a friend wants to go see it and they haven't seen it yet, I might check it out. But I actually think I myself just might go see that movie again just because I liked it that much.
Oh, it's one of
I'm
those movies
going to.
you could just go see it by yourself
Oh,
easily
yeah.
and be like, have the grandest time. The other movie I wish I could have went and saw, but I know it's not playing anywhere near here, is there was that Michael Moore movie came out at the same time as Deadpool.
Well, that's gonna be playing somewhere around here. What's it called? Where do we invade next?
Yeah, Where to Invade Next.
Yeah, that
Where
ain't coming to cinema.
where he's going by and checking out other countries that have
Okay, yeah.
like they're ideas that were created in the U.S., but the U.S. kind of stopped doing them, but they're thriving ideas in other countries. I'm like, that sounds fucking awesome. I wanted to see that, but I'd probably have to drive 2 hours to go see that. Same with a bunch of other fucking movies too, but no, Deadpool is definitely one of those ones I could definitely see seeing that one again. As I said, it was all really good. It was just that surprise factor. That's the only thing. And I feel it's one of those movies, if you would have watched it without ever seeing the trailer, it would never even bother you. You'd be like, oh, it's fucking perfect. But just seeing the trailer kind of going like, I just hope they have more. It's kind of like the Batman versus Superman thing. It's just like, please tell me that's not the entire movie right there. Please say you have something hidden.
Or the whole cast.
Yeah.
I think the cast is what killed it for me for Deadpool. They showed Ajax and Angel Dust and Colossus, the Limo bitch, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, who's left? I mean, Bob, I think, was the best
Yeah,
part.
Bob, I guess,
He's
he's
the
the
only
closest
one.
thing you could say to a surprise is Bob. I will say that, I guess that is the surprise.
No
He
one,
couldn't get a character poster though.
that scene was the one that, like, me and, like, 2 other people, the whole theater, laughed at. Everyone else was kind of like, oh, I don't understand. Who's Bob? I was like,
Same
God,
thing with me. Like me and like 2 or 3 other people are the only ones laughing. He's like, Bob, like that.
Because everyone else is like, Bob, who the fuck's Bob?
Well, my buddy that I saw it with last night, he's like, oh, yeah, man, I love Deadpool. It's going to be awesome. Great, whatever. And then when he cuts his hand off and he goes back with, what's that gal's name? Owl?
The blind black lady?
Yeah, blind gal. But anyway, when but he's sitting there, just like touching her face with his little like gimp hand. He's like, "Oh my god, his hand's growing back," and I was like, "Well, yeah, that's what Deadpool does. He regrows." He's like, "Oh, yeah, I totally knew that." I was like, "God, are you shitting me right now?" And then the whole
plays Deadpool on my iPhone game.
it pained me. Let's get out of this.
It's just that little baby infant Anne just gripping her face, like just
the best fucking line when he's like, "You may want to leave. This thing's gonna feel huge in his hand."
And he's like, "Go, go," kind of creepy as he's stroking her face. I can't wait for the director's cut because they said there's going to be a director's cut because there's more runs.
They cut out tons and tons of. So it's got to be really good.
Well, because this is one of these movies, I feel if there is a director's cut to that, this will take that movie to like the next level. You know, because it's already really good as is. But if you have a director's cut, and especially if it does actually add in a bunch of, in a sense, if it adds even more surprises, and I'm assuming that you're not going to get like a Hugh Jackman cameo or anything like that, but
it'd be amazing if there was.
It'd be amazing if they're like, here's all the X-Men cut back in, just like how we cut Rogue out of like the last X-Men movie. Well, we cut a bunch of other characters out of this one. Why? I don't know.
There's a rumor right now, because this part is fact. Hugh Jackman says he's going to play Wolverine one more time, and they're going to make another Wolverine movie that's essentially not entirely Old Man Logan because they don't have all those characters, but just inspired by Old Man Logan.
Oh, that would be so amazing.
I'd love to see Old Man Logan go against Old Hulk, but I know that's not going to happen. But they're going to make something kind of inspired by Old Man Logan.
Well, there's enough X-Men characters
now.
You can kind of like fit in, like this guy replaces this and this replaces that.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, we have Red Skull, we have Kingpin. Well,
but you can't have any of those characters in the X-Men though.
Oh fuck, that's right. Damn it.
So you pretty much have to replace all those characters with an X-Men character.
Oh, that's right.
But that's not that bad because there's like 500 X-Men characters. Yeah. There's choices.
Sabretooth can be the whole character, you know.
Yeah, I
mean, he doesn't eat him, but he could be the whole character.
Yeah, it's
but
go ahead, put Longshot in as fucking like Hawkeye.
That works.
But there was they were saying that they might do that one, but after this though, they're saying they might do not their fact, but they might do a Wolverine Deadpool movie. It's just a maybe because, but the thing is, he doesn't want. The only reason, like, he loves playing Wolverine, but the only reason he stopped doing it because it's literally too much physicality on him. Like, there's so many moments he has to pull his shirt off and just be ridiculously ripped. So he's like, look, this is becoming way too much trouble for me. I just want to eat a fucking cheeseburger. So,
well, it's kind of like Stallone said this about like doing another Rambo movie. He's like, I want to do another Rambo movie, but at this point, it's just too much. I can do an Expendables movie because it's like there's an ensemble cast and so on. I can do a couple of action scenes, but I could not do a full movie of action scenes. It's just too much. And I get it too. Like, here's the thing: who else has played a superhero for that long? Hugh Jackman's he's been doing it for 16 years now.
Yeah.
So
I think he's either 50 or he's almost 50, and he's still just unbelievably ripped. Like, I saw X-Men Days of Future Past a little bit ago, and just how there's like 2 or 3 parts in that whole movie where he has to take his shirt off, and just out of like all that work just for like a 2-minute scene,
I know, it's kind of funny. You think the same thing with like Chris Hemsworth and all this stuff too, because you go like, Thor almost never has his shirt off except for maybe once or twice in the movie.
Yeah.
Even his arms, it's like, why the fuck does he have those stupid arm guard things on? Take that shit off. Like, what is that doing on there? Like, let him like he worked for this. Let him have at least some screen time. It's like, jeez. Just the next Avengers movie, everybody's got their fucking shirt off the whole time. Nobody's got fucking armor.
Well, this escalated quickly. Hello.
Just like Cap. They got the mask on, but they just don't have a shirt. It's just like the torso's exposed.
They're trying to bring in like more ladies.
It's like the Magic Mike crossover.
Avengers 3, directed by what's his name?
The guy Steven Soderbergh.
Steven Soderbergh, yeah. So yeah.
But well, the thing about it's like, so I mean, like, I get it with the Hugh Jackman thing. It's he's a fantastic Wolverine, but at some point you got to kind of go, okay, hang up the claws.
Exactly. And I think that like, but they're saying for if like he might do it. He's not. They're not saying it's a solid fact or even I don't even know if he stated it. But I think someone at Fox said they want to do a Wolverine Deadpool movie. And if Wolverine can't, because like if Wolverine can't be in all these X-Men movies from now on, they can maybe get Deadpool in more of them, and they'll be the PG-13 versions. But
That's
then
okay.
they'll be PG-13. But then Deadpool solo movies will still be R.
Well, here's the. You know what would be cool? Also, if Hugh Jackman's like, let's say he didn't do any more like where he was the main character anymore, but it'd be cool if he just still came back for cameos.
Keep the shirt on.
Yeah,
Won't
just
work out.
Just
and
put on
keep
the
playing.
flannel and like have a
Yeah.
cigar in your mouth. You can do that until you're 75 years old. If you know,
Perfect.
nobody's
I like
gonna
Do a
care.
few sit-ups. That's all you got to do. Just a few sit-ups. You don't got to do like that insane caveman diet.
Yeah, because Hugh Jackman took it to like the
Extreme. Good
Like
lord.
he did probably even more than you had to do.
It paid off though. Good lord.
Oh yeah,
That guy's disgustingly ripped.
but he could probably back it off a bit, just do a regular workout, and
Yeah.
I think just come in and just maybe even a little bit bigger than cameos. Like maybe like a 10-minute scene in these movies. Like that'd be kind of cool.
I feel like he can after that part in Days of Future Past when he gets out of bed and with the water bed and they all shoot at him. He takes all those guys out and he's like just jeans only. I feel like he can kind of go up to any woman, point at him, pregnant, done.
New special power.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Whoa, wow, that was
Inception.
quick.
Now, if you could just do a Van Helsing 2, that would make my
That
day.
would be awesome. Good lord.
It's funny, though, because that movie's like, a lot of people don't like that one. I'm
I
like,
love
dude,
it.
it's so fucking good. Like, that to me is like my favorite like Dracula movie. But the reason I think I like it so much is that is the closest thing you could get to like a perfect Castlevania movie. It's like, okay, you got Van Helsing in here. He's younger. He's the monster hunter. But then you also get Dracula. You get Frankenstein. You get zombies.
Then Kate
you get ghouls,
Beckinsale.
You get Kate Beckinsale. You get werewolves. You get all
Yeah.
this stuff in one fucking movie. It's just like, how could you not like that? Directed by the guy who did fucking Mummy. That guy knows his fucking
what
like
more do you
Universal
want
like
from life?
like monster movies.
You selfish assholes.
That was a movie. I mean, maybe I'm oblivious to it now, but or back then. But like, I remember back when I was younger, a movie be coming out. I'm like, oh, that's a big deal. This movie's important. Then now I kind of look into it like, oh wow, that movie's apparently really hated. Because I remember when I was younger. I mean, this was before I read movie reviews, and it wasn't that long ago, I guess. But I was
Well, when you're 12, everybody
I was-
fucking loves
That
that.
is awesome.
Well, I wasn't even 12. I was like probably 14 or 15, maybe 16. Like,
Maybe
sorry, I guess I
think
wasn't
about
old.
that. For some
But
reason,
14, like
I guess it was
I
a
was
high
I
school
think I was-
movie, yeah.
Mhm.
I was a junior, or I was like a sophomore or junior in high school, and that doesn't seem that long ago, but I guess it kind of was. But anyway,
I think I just
remember when
masturbation then. Yeah.
fuck, you're making me feel old.
Masturbation and Hugh Jackman.
They're not connected. They just happen to be at the same
Ryan Reynolds'
time.
dick. I mean, I see where this is going.
Maybe if I look at him and jerk off, I'll become buff like him.
Well, because
No,
I
but
noticed
like,
there's a lot of older people. Well, some older people, because some older people either really liked Van Helsing or they didn't for some reason, which is weird because people seem to like the Mummy so well, but and Van Helsing's really not anything different. Like if you like,
Not at all.
like if you enjoyed the Mummy, how could you not like Van Helsing?
Same concept, different concept.
Yeah, same
Well,
kind of
they're-
like humor and everything too,
Yeah.
with action and adventure.
They were banking on a sequel because they have the whole thing never answer of like, oh yeah, I woke up on the steps of Rome like 200 years ago or something like that, or something to that effect. Like he had like memories from a long time ago. I haven't seen the movie in so long, but they never answered it. And like then Dracula's like, hello Gabriel, we meet again. You took my finger, remember? It's just like what? And I think it was one of those things sequel, but that sequel never happened.
No, well, because it's once again it was riding off the Mummy popularity for how fucking huge those movies were. And Van Helsing was just like, to me, it was just like, it was so badass. You combine all this stuff together. And I mean, maybe here's the thing. It's probably one of those movies that like was sort of targeted towards like a 15-year-old audience, because it's just, maybe an adult was going like, why is this movie not rated R? Why does it not have this? Why does it a little bit have comedy in it? Why does it kind of like feel like a 007 movie? But to me, it's like all those things clicked. I'm like, I fucking love 007. Why would it not feel like a 007 movie? Like, you're like, yeah, fucking in Dracula, Van Helsing's always old. He's like Anthony Hopkins or something. I'm not complaining, but it's cool to see him be young. It just, everything fired for me on that movie. And, I wish that they have a video game. I guess that's the closest thing you can say that there is to like sort of a sequel. And then there's actually like a little animated one. It's only like 20 minutes long. It's kind of fucking weird because they sell it, but it's not like it's a feature-length movie. But that anime one's kind of cool. It's like a little prequel.
when he's going after like Dr. Hyde
Yeah, it's like
or Mr. Hyde.
you could literally like what they should have just did with the DVD is they should have just had a special one where you plug that in the very beginning, watch that, and then it fades into the movie. But it would be cool.
I imagine that cartoon's actually darker than the actual movie.
Yeah, it's a little bit because it's like anime and so
Yeah.
on. But here's the thing: it's like I just feel like Dracula's just not popular anymore. You know, I mean, there was a Dracula Untold movie that was pretty sweet, and it just seemed people didn't gravitate towards that. And once again, the Universal Marvel movies, the Universal monster movies, it was kind of like that was supposed to be the start again, almost like a Van Helsing, and then it kind of dipped back down.
Well, I think now we're in a time where Marvel and DC are going to take over, like 007 monsters, and they're going to be the most popular characters in anything now. So anything else doesn't really hold any value. Like, yeah, oh, cool.
Well,
like zombie movies, I don't think a zombie movie would do that great now. Like that Pride and Prejudice and
well, that just looks fucking retarded.
That was,
I mean,
painfully retarded.
I will say
hurt
this
so much.
Whoever wrote it, it's a fucking amazing idea because it sold so well. And just because of that, just taking something because the fucking Pride and Prejudice is so old that it has no copyright, so you can just totally like write your own shit in there. Like hilarious. I will say that's a genius fucking idea. Yeah. That doesn't mean it makes it a fucking good movie.
That was a terrible movie. God awful.
But the idea, I mean, I give credit where credit's due.
Now I never read the book, but I know they're trying to do that whole kind of like that whole thing, like kind of meta, self-aware kind of comedy. Like it's so ridiculous. It's kind of and so stupid. It's kind of funny. I didn't see the movie. I saw the trailer, and it's so weird. The first trailer, I wasn't exactly say I wouldn't say I was sold, but it was like it started off like a regular Pride and Prejudice kind of trailer, and then all of a sudden abruptly cuts to zombie shit. You see these girls kicking ass like in slow motion with some kind of like girl rock song over it. I'm like, okay, that might work. And then because it's Pride, Prejudice, and zombies. Like, okay, it knows it's kind of stupid. Then I saw the second one. It looked like it was taking itself so seriously. It's like. Maybe it's a satire and it's not good at hiding, but apparently you saw it and it was really bad.
It was terrible.
Wait, you saw it?
Yeah.
Oh wow, good. We have some actual.
It started off like it was really cool. It really was different. It didn't follow anything of the book or the actual movie that came out with Keira Knightley, whatever.
That Pride and Prejudice one.
Yeah, same characters and stuff. But then about halfway through, it picks up the same plot. Zombies aren't really a big part of it anymore. And you're like, I'm watching a love story now. This is terrible. My boner's gone. All right, well, fuck. And then it ends with zombies for a little bit, and then that's it. It was just a huge letdown.
Now, is that the same guy that wrote the book that wrote the Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter one?
Ooh,
I think it's the same guy.
I think yeah.
I think so.
I think you're right.
That movie was kind of fun. It's not the greatest movie, but it was fun.
Did you see that? I don't think I did. I don't think
it's worth checking out. Like yeah. I enjoyed it. I thought it was neat. I'll say this, even though don't get me wrong, the Steven Spielberg Lincoln movie has fantastic acting and everything like this. I will say the Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter was a little bit more enjoyable though. There's more stuff going. There's more action going.
Yeah,
on.
It sounds way cooler.
I mean, if you could combine Daniel Day-Lewis fucking fighting like vampires and shit, like oh man, you combine those two movies. You do the fusion dance with those two movies. And fucking Tommy Lee Jones rips off his like bird hair and like is a monster.
I guess the thing with that movie, I only saw like a few parts of it. And maybe it didn't. What I saw wasn't awful. I guess my thing is he was young, and I know that one point in time Abraham Lincoln was young, but
one point in time he was a child with a beard.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't just come out with the top hat and the beard, but I don't know him as anything else other than the top hat and the old tall man. So seeing some young guy, like he might as well be some young vampire hunter in the 1800s as opposed to Abraham Lincoln.
But I guess one of those movies that progresses though. It like here's him when he's young and he gets older throughout the movie.
Well, what they should do now with vampires, they should throw Deadpool in there.
He's
had one.
Well, you could almost make Deadpool. Yeah, you could have him fight all like the old-fashioned monsters.
That would be hilarious.
Because I think that's the only reason why like the monster thing's not working really well. Like we're probably like one of the last generations that really had like a big impact from like the Universal monster movies.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody else that's younger, those movies are just too old. Because for the fact, I guess they're almost pushing 100 years old, those movies. But, you know, like, I still remember being a kid and watching Dracula and the Mummy and Creature from the Black Lagoon and still being like, these are fucking sick.
The Blob.
Oh, I remember the Mummy being like, this movie's kind of slow and boring. But the rest of them, like Creature from the Black Lagoon, I think that's the pinnacle of them all. You know, and Dracula's good and so on. But I think to a lot of people, you sit them down and fucking show them Bela Lugosi, be like, the fuck is this?
I will say that could possibly happen because they did have they had Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe,
Yeah.
Deadpool kills Dead Presidents. They had one where Deadpool kills all the monsters or something, and it's basically how like certain mythological creatures got pushed to extinction. And I think some of the I think like Black Lagoon monster might be one of them. At some point, I only like flipped through it. I didn't read the whole thing. He's going after the mermaid. And there's some sailors like, there it is right now. Says, but she looks so innocent. Just imagine it as something you hate. Then he sees it as Namor, the submariner.
Oh, Namor?
He's like, kill it. Just very slow. Like fires the rocket.
Well, I also read, I think, Kane, you gave me this one, the one where he goes back to like all like the old novels. So it's like
kills Mark Twain and stuff.
Yeah. So there's all these series of like Deadpool going through things, but
Moby
Deadpool's
Dick.
he's almost a way to sell other stuff because he can just invade anything.
Yeah.
All they gotta do is kind of build up to it. They probably gotta do about one more movie where you start introducing some of the other Deadpool elements, and then by a third Deadpool movie, you could probably just go, let him do whatever he fucking wants.
Deadpool core. That would be awesome. Like Panda Pool, Dog Pool, Lady Deadpool. That'd be hilarious. It'd be awesome.
What was the they got what was that? I love the very end of that movie. They had the
Ferris Bueller's.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off, like homage at the very end. How he comes out like in the robe. Says, what are you doing? You go home. He's like, oh, you're waiting for the snippet for like, oh, the next movie's coming out or whatever. Not happening. We don't have the money. And later comes back.
Nick Fury and stuff. Oh, so funny.
She's expecting like Sam Jackson to come out in a saucy little leather number, right? But then he comes back and then he says like, actually, we might be getting Cable. Then like, so I think the next one. I never read any Cable and Deadpool, but I think that'd be a good team up though. Cable and Deadpool.
Cable's so awesome.
I haven't loved what he was saying. So it's like, I don't know who we're gonna get. Maybe Dolph Lundgren, Keira Knightley. I don't know. She's got range.
That made me laugh. Well, because the thing about Cable, too, it's like that's one of the coolest fucking X-Men characters.
God,
but
yeah.
I really will say, I never felt like Cable has gotten like enough publicity throughout the years.
Absolutely not.
Like, I remember in the animated show, like in the 90s, I was like, dude, he's only on like a couple episodes. Like, why is this guy not fucking in? Like, why is he not like a main character?
Oh.
And then even like in other stuff, too, it's like, you got him in like Marvel's Capcom 2, and then he started having like his own run in the 90s of stuff, and I bet you that's like kind of closest. And then now he's got like the Deadpool crossover and some other crossovers, but that character's like, out of fucking 9 X-Men movies or whatever there is, like, dude, why is he not in there yet? Yeah.
Show up once, that would be perfect.
I feel like now he could, because after you do the Days of Future Past, that kind of sets it up for any, like, the future stuff. Because you got Bishop there, it's like, come on.
I think what they're going to do is this next, because, they're going to keep on making X-Men movies, but I think what's going to happen is this next X-Men Apocalypse, that's the last like X-Men movie starring those characters. Maybe they'll have the younger cast go on and play these characters. But I heard something like that's the last one that's starting the classic characters. Then from there, they're going to go do like new X-Men, X-Factor, all these newfangled characters I hardly know. But characters like X-23, Domino, like that kind of stuff.
That'd be sweet.
That'd be really sweet.
If you do like X-Force stuff. And then
X-Force would be so cool. Oh my god.
So the thing about
that's like the Black Ops X-Men, right? X-Force?
Yeah. And when that's the one where it's like, it's got Cable and Domino, and I think Deadpool's even a part of it too, and sometimes Wolverine.
And X-23 is.
Yeah, it's pretty much like all like the badass characters.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about X-Men, you can go so many places with it. You could literally release an X-Men movie every single year and have it feel completely different than the other one.
Characters. I think that's what they're going to do with Suicide Squad too, because there's so many different squads that they can just be like, oh, new crew. Oh, new crew.
Yeah.
They can run that one until it dries out.
But
I bet like if they do the thing where characters die off and in a Suicide Squad, I bet Slipknot's gonna be one of the first ones to go.
Guarantee it. Guarantee it.
He's just not gonna let.
Oh, fucking.
No way they're killing Harley. No way they're killing Harley Quinn first run. No way they're killing Deadshot first run.
Or Captain
Just think of
Boomerang.
those actors.
I feel bad. Captain Boomerang, I would like him to last longer, but I
He's
know
so fucking cool.
that the world is against him.
I love Captain. Oh.
I feel like the newest Suicide Squad trailer got people on Captain Boomerang's side and Jai Courtney, because Jai Courtney is one of those guys, like, the guy's always so boring. But the new, like, Suicide Squad trailer, where he's just screaming, and, like, one of the best parts of that whole trailer is when they get him out of the back, and he just, like, gets out, just punches the first guy he sees, you know?
Well, poor Jai Courtney, because everybody would be like, on Terminator 5, they're like, everything about this movie's good. Jai Courtney's just a little bit stale. And it's just like...
He was the bad guy in Jack Reacher. I liked him in that.
And he's also...
he's kind of a creep.
What was like that first really big movie we saw, man?
I was Jack Reacher.
I saw one before Jack Reacher.
Oh, he was in Die Hard as Bruce Willis' son.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That was terrible. That was awful.
Which one, Die Hard 5?
Yeah. The one,
he's not in 4, is he?
The one with Jai Courtney.
He's in
Straight
5,
up, I watched that movie again. We talked about this on the podcast a couple times, but my second viewing of that movie, I changed my opinion.
Really?
It sounds so fucking weird. Because I saw it in theaters and I thought the same thing. I was like, what the fuck is this?
I've only seen it once.
And I saw it the second time and I was like, you know what? Okay, it's not the best Die Hard, but I enjoyed it like way more that second time. So we talked about this.
Okay.
I don't know why that's a fucking... It's going to be up there with our Batman and Clint Eastwood topics for all we know. Fucking Die Hard 5. Yeah, I don't know why. But
going down the checklist, Batman, Clint Eastwood, Cowboy Bebop, Bruce Springsteen,
Sonic the Hedgehog.
And Sonic the Hedgehog.
But there's a trailer that came, I don't know if it came on your guys' Deadpool one, but Hardcore Henry.
Oh.
Holy crap. That movie right there, I look at that and go, dude, this is the movie I'm looking forward to this year. I was surprised. I thought that was a Neville Diamond Taylor movie. When I first saw that, like, I literally had to look, I'm like, who the fuck's the director on this? And then when I was like, when it's not Neville Diamond Taylor, I'm like, oh, dude, just, it feels like almost like that could be like their Crank 3 unofficial title.
Oh my god.
It looks
so good. That would
be
so amazing. I love the Cranks.
But that Hardcore Henry just looked like that fills that void of like not having a Crank 3.
Yeah.
Like it looks so badass. And it's like, okay,
ridiculous.
I've seen like videos like on YouTube and stuff where people do like 10-minute first person shooter things, but to get a full on movie that does it, I mean, really, you can go back in time. There's been first person stuff throughout, you know, in the 70s you'd get some westerns where they'd have first person, it wasn't much, but you'd get the gun come up. Closest thing to, even though a first person shooter video game never existed.
Theme of Doom.
You know, Doom was like that was the first
cool.
one where I noticed like where they really embellished it, and it was cool. It was like only 5 minutes long, if that.
But it was fucking great.
So sweet. So the idea of doing a whole movie like that, the way they do it looks so good. It might be much for somebody like an older generation to take that movie in, because like being all first person. But I think to anybody now, it's like, dude, well, I've played video games that you spend 100 hours in.
It's
first
just
person
like Call of Duty.
Yeah. But like,
I just like to give someone some bad acid, make them watch that movie. Just like, you know.
Like kill a few people.
That movie just looks so great. I can't wait for it.
Yeah.
That, and then there was another trailer for, and this is something I didn't expect to happen, but there was a Olympus Has Fallen sequel. London Has Fallen.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my god, that looks so fucking badass. I loved Olympus Has Fallen. Even though I will say, this sounds weird, there was the White House Down movie that came out like right after Olympus Has Fallen. And I didn't see it in theaters and stuff, because I was like, it's PG-13, all that stuff. Well, I bought that movie later on Blu-ray and watched it. I will say, I almost think that one might be a tad bit better than Olympus Has Fallen. It's a little
funnier.
It's a little bit funnier, but like even the action in it's fucking really good. I mean, they're totally on par. They kind of each one has a little bit different dynamic. But that White House Down, it's like, fuck, can we get a London Is Down too? Like, I would like a sequel to both those movies. But apparently Olympus Has Fallen, like I looked that up because I'm like, did that movie actually do really well? It's like, no, that movie made a ton of money and also made a ton of money overseas. It's like, well, maybe because America, they're like, yes, we love seeing America blow up and being taken over.
It's something to aspire to.
Yeah, exactly. But that movie to me was like, it reminded me of like action movies in the 90s. It was like, I feel like I'm watching Air Force One.
It's just outlandish. It's really...
Yeah, it's slightly over the top, but I like that.
Yeah.
You know, you could even be like, you know, almost like, I guess Collateral Damage kind of like that, sort of, but it's cool that they're getting a sequel. I didn't expect that. That really was like a surprise. It was like, you know, you hear these other ones, like you knew the Independence Day 2 was coming out. You knew that this, but that one was like, it was just a trailer came up. I'm like, the fuck?
Well, it's not that guy, but it's the other guy, Roland Emmerich. Speaking of him, What do you think about Independence Day 2? Because I know we kind of just briefly brushed over that.
I guess that's true, and I think they had a second trailer that came out. I think
Super Bowl trailer.
yeah, because the Super Bowl one,
it.
like I just went online, there was a bunch of like fucking new trailers, but I'm already excited about Independence Day 2. Like to me, I'm fucking sold. That's already kind of I guess in that same like Olympus Has Fallen category. It's those 90s movies where they're like slightly over the top, but I like that, and maybe it's just like the 90s feel that I like so much from it. Independence Day 2, some people are going like, it doesn't have Will Smith in it. I'm like, that's okay. You got fucking Jeff Goldblum is the main character in there. That's all I wanted. That's all I ever wanted. You fucking put Jeff Goldblum back in movies again. I'm so excited. And fuck it, then it's also got it's got young Liam in there. Like I like Liam Hemsworth.
It's got old Bill Pullman.
Yeah, he's got bearded Bill Pullman. Like,
I wonder if it's kind of like, well, he's actually no longer the president. He's actually now the emperor. Why? He fucking saved the world from aliens. How many presidents actually get into a fucking jet? Yeah. It's like, what's your stance on foreign policy? Save the fucking world. All right. What about the tax? What about the tax increase? Save the fucking world. Drops the mic or leaves.
Yeah. He's one of those ones where it's just like, dude, you would just keep voting for that guy over and over again. Because you know that when shit happens again, and we know those aliens are coming back, he'll be there.
He's getting back into his fighter pilot, because he's a fighter pilot. He belongs in the air.
But no, I'm really excited about that Independence Day too. I think this year is going to be almost just as good. Like last year was a fucking amazing year.
Oh yeah.
We got so many big titles, But this year it's filled with.
I think it's gonna top it.
It might top it even. Like
I think it will.
I don't know if you're going to be able to top Mad Max, so that might be a little bit hard. But the rest of them, though, they're going to be close.
Like I'm interested in seeing Independence Day 2. I'm not like dying for it, but I'm interested. I'm just kind of curious because like it's not like, oh, the aliens died and the world went back to normal. It's like, oh no, they adapted the technology into there, and there's like aliens that were on the run they're tracking down. So that's kind of interesting. So we'll see what happens. I really loved that movie as a kid. Now it's kind of like I kind of like it in a shitty, like snarky kind of way. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit.
I just love that movie. To me, it puts a big smile on my face. I'm like,
it does remind me of my childhood. That is a big nostalgia is a big part of it, definitely.
Well, because there's just there's certain thing about '90s movies, and like the Independence Day is maybe a little bit different, but I do feel like it's sort of in that same kind of field where movies felt bigger in the '90s. They just felt like we haven't had humongous movies in a long time. And now Independence Day is one thing, but when I look at movies that are kind of in that same area, now that one was big kind of for its special effects, and I know nowadays we get movies with special effects all the time, but things like Dances with Wolves and movies like that where they spent just a copious amount of money and they had this huge scope, I just don't feel like you get that anymore. Because even movies they say they spend a lot of money on, compared to like the 90s price, it's nothing.
Yeah.
You just don't see those like in a sense, like I almost want to say this is a weird word to use, but like epic movies, they just don't make those anymore. Where they just had this like, all I can think of is huge and big and large, and like it just felt like they built this all, like they built this world for you to see. And now I think it's kind of due to CG, because technically you get worlds that are actually bigger.
Yeah.
But when they're CG, they don't feel bigger, because it's like you just all I see is like there's some dude's fucking computer screen. I don't want it to sound like that's all it is. I mean, it's still cool, but it's not that same grand, epic-y feel.
I know. I can't think of the last time, because I know what you mean. Maybe it was because we were younger, so our interests were more focused in on what's the movie coming out, But I guess sort of big movies don't seem like as big of a deal as they used to be. Like I remember the last movie. I mean, granted, or I'll say this seemed like a big deal, Star Wars. But before that, I think the last movie everybody was super excited, flipping out about was Avengers. And then before that,
but those movies, as I say, they don't have that scope feel. It's like Avengers. It's all CG, so it's all like you feel like you're just watching a bunch of characters like acting in like a play that happen to have all this special effects going around them. Like I don't know what it is. Like that's different than watching a movie where it's like. I guess Mad Max is the closest thing I can think of, because that movie has so much real shit going on in it that it feels huge. But I guess
I know what you mean about
you're watching a bunch of cars in one little small area. it's I don't know. It's not like Waterworld almost, where you got this. They're out in the fucking ocean, all this shit's going down.
Mad Max, but on the water. No, it was one of those things where I guess I see what you're saying. Like you mean more of like the physical scope of actually being out there. I guess I kind of thought it more in the aspect of like big movies like the last time, because now it seems like we get so many big blockbusters every year. Now it's just kind of like, oh, not a big deal, like because we got people. I mean, I can't wait for it, but like in a month, Jesus Christ,
So weird
in a
to
month,
think.
we got Batman versus Superman coming out, and that seemed like probably 4 years ago. That seemed like it would have been a big deal. Right now, it's like, oh, people are, oh yeah, I'll go see that movie, cool, but it's not like people would be freaking out like they probably would have maybe like 5-6 years ago.
Well, that's
possibly.
Shit, I'm freaking out.
That brings up the same point though. Like,
I am, but I mean, most people though.
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
but that is kind of true because, like, do you remember how big Batman Forever was? Like, that's one of those ones that like people nowadays probably don't think about that at all. But Batman Forever was so fucking big. Like right after like 1 and 2 came out, it was like it was like you had to fucking see Batman Forever.
I think I was too young.
Yeah, you might have
I think
been
I was too
just a
young.
tad bit under, but I remember Batman Forever. It was just like that was like the most talked about thing. It was everywhere. Fucking Batman Forever, and I don't feel like
Jim Carrey, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I know that's one of those movies that's almost probably like the most forgotten sort of Batman movie of all of them. But it was just for 1995. It was humongous. To me, actually, I'll say it was much bigger than even things like The Dark Knight. Now, The Dark Knight, I think's legacy has kind of made it bigger over time.
Yeah.
But Batman Forever it was everywhere.
I think it's one of those things like I said earlier. I think since we were kids, that's all we kind of focused on is like media and all that kind of shit. But I think but I do think that maybe it's also one of those things like now it seems like kind of like they can make anything. They can make anything now, so it doesn't wow you as much. And on top of that, I think it was one of those things like, oh my god, it was amazing enough. We got one Batman movie. Now we got a third Batman movie. I think it's one of those kind of things.
Well, I think that's it because nowadays,
then, like,
you get so many movies that I think that it almost takes away. Which I'm not complaining because it's like it's grateful to have all this
God,
stuff.
no.
But it is that sort of thing. Like that Batman movie is like, well, how many fucking Superman movies have you had before this? You had 4 Superman ones. You had 2 Batman ones, and that's about it. You had a Punisher and a Captain America movie.
You'd get like one comic book movie every 2 or 3 years, maybe, and then then it went from being 1 or 2 a year. Now it's like 4 or 5 a year.
Yeah, and I mean, like to me, I still think that's like the greatest thing ever. But I could see where somebody's going like, you know what? They're fucking hell. Deadpool's out, then there's Batman versus. It's too hard to keep up with all these movies.
That's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I don't think people are saying it like almost kind of like almost like I can't fucking wait for it. Like Steven Spielberg, I love his work and all that, but he's been like, yeah, superhero movies are gonna fucking die out, just like fucking westerns. Fuck them. Verbatim, that's what he said.
He's like, you didn't see me do a fucking western? No, because I'm a fucking head of the curve.
So
Steven
instead I did Indiana
Spielberg.
Jones 4. But it's one of those things where I think he not him, but I think it's one of those things where I think eventually superhero movies will go down, but it won't be like this crashing, like they're never gonna make them again. I think it's gonna be like, we'll go from being like 5 or 6 a year, maybe to 1 or 2 a year. You know what I mean?
Well, because they'll go like westerns. Like westerns never died. People talk about westerns like they died. There's always a couple westerns a year. I mean, they don't get nearly as much publicity as they should. They don't get big releases or anything like that. But they're still there. I mean, hell, even this year, or last year, I mean, you get a couple westerns right there at the very end. You had Hateful Eight and you had The Revenant and all that stuff.
You usually need someone like a Tarantino or I almost said Spielberg, but not Spielberg because he hasn't done a western. But like
He did Lincoln.
like
it's
someone
kind of like a
the Coen
western. It
Brothers.
takes place during western times.
Like a Coen Brothers. You need someone kind of like that to like sell off a western.
Yes.
A movie that's actually kind of jumped out at me recently, though. I mean, we were talking about doing big movies to small movies. Now, I didn't really care so much about the first one, but just given the cast and kind of the concept of this one, I'm kind of curious. I'll be honest, I'm a little interested about the Cloverfield sequel.
The trailer was sweet.
Yeah.
Did you see the trailer?
It was cool, but it's just a weird thought to have a second one. The first one was, for me, more than enough.
Yeah.
I liked it, but I don't see where they're getting a second one. My thought is maybe it's like a different point of view from the same attack. I mean, if it's another
Mhm.
attack, I don't really see how that's going to work. But I don't know. It's something that kind of piqued my interest, but not really something I'm too thrilled about.
I'll say this.
I just go ahead, man. I cut you off.
I never saw the original Cloverfield. It never interested me whatsoever. This trailer, though, for the second one, when I see fucking John Goodman and Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who's like my favorite actress, and just John Goodman like trying to keep this family all nice. Because at first I was like, "What the fuck is this? Is this like a Fallout movie or something?"
Yeah, it was weird. I was like, what's
I was
going
like,
on?
and they're trying to like playing board games and stuff and trying to keep it like, okay, we're having a good time, you know, just like Blast from the Past. We'll live this out. We'll work this out, you know. And then all of a sudden shit starts going down. It's like, no, don't fucking leave. Don't fucking leave. Like, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? This looks great. And it was almost like the Cloverfieldness of it was the only part I was like, oh, it's a Cloverfield movie. Just because to me, it's like, it reminds me, like, the one thing I dislike in movies is I hate shaky cam, and that seemed like the epitome of shaky cam movies.
Yes.
And that's why I didn't see it. It's like, well, I fucking hate that in regular movies when they try to be cool and doing the shaky cam. So why do I want to see a whole movie like that?
Here's the about Cloverfield. I didn't see it in theaters. I saw it on DVD, and it was just kind of like a very generic group of like douchey New Yorkers trying. We're trying to get away from the monster, blah! You know. In concept, it's kind of interesting. Kaiju battle, a kaiju attacking a city, people just trying to survive. In concept, it's kind of cool. It didn't really. The movie didn't get me. It didn't. I mean, it didn't really grasp me. It was just kind of like whatever. You know, it had some moments, but it was just kind of whatever. It didn't like. I didn't hate it or dislike it. It just didn't do a whole lot for me. I was just kind of very meh about the whole thing. But I think just I guess the fact that it's not the shaky cam. It's an entirely different group of people. And like you said, John Goodman, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and then that whole kind of Fallout shelter bottle thing. You know what I mean? And you know shit's gonna go bad. So I am a little curious about that. I don't know how much of the movie they're gonna be in there, but one thing they're saying is what it might be is it's not even a Cloverfield movie. It's more of kind of like Cloverfield is just a name they kind of give to like an anthology type series, kind of like it's a possibility.
Like a Twilight Zone, I guess.
Like a Twilight Zone kind of thing. Yeah, so the first one's Cloverfield, and the next one's like, okay, this one's like just a weird, like, sci-fi, horror-ish kind of thing with a similar kind of vibe, but different story. So that's a rumor. It's not a solid fact. I think by this point it's more likely a sequel, but that was something that was kind of going around, because the trailer doesn't even show the monster, so.
No, I will say, I probably will go see that movie just because of that trailer and the actors. Because that looked really fucking good. Just from that. As I said, I won't even go out and probably even watch the first one. That sounds like such a weird thing.
Not worth it.
You know, because mostly I just feel like a person's like, well, if I'm gonna see the sequel, I might as well catch up. But that just feels like one of those ones. I'm like, no, dude, I'm there for whatever the hell's going on in that movie.
Well, Cloverfield 1, it was like literally when South Park was ripped on Cloverfields for the guinea pig thing, yeah. And literally, when like Stan, Randy's shaking the camera, going everywhere. She's like, Randy, why are you doing that? You see him, and he's just like backing up.
Well, I like when it's just like everybody's looking at him, and he's going like this with his arms around, moving the camera.
Because that's what it feels like when someone's moving the camera the whole movie. They're trying way too hard to do like the 90s MTV like interview
show,
thing,
like intro.
Yeah. I love there's like I want to say there's like an introduction of a South Park episode, and like the guy is like, well, for this episode we were playing. These guys zooming in, like, what are you doing? Like, I'm doing the MTV thing. Like, don't fucking do that, stupid.
It's like on one of the original like the first 2 seasons when they do like I think the live action intros. I think it's on one of those.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny. Like, what are you doing? The MTV thing. Don't fucking do that.
But Kaiden, was there any other trailers that came on yours?
I'm trying to think. Apocalypse, new Batman versus Superman was on there.
The 4th trailer?
Yeah, that or 3rd or 4th, whatever it was.
The newest one.
The one, the punchy one. It was like punches.
Where they actually
there's like punches.
Where it wasn't even. It wasn't like the one where it's just because each one's been like slow, like Latin choir, like big shit's going down. This one just like guitar, like let's fucking box.
Yeah,
like
this one where Alfred is guiding Bruce in the Batwing.
Oh fuck, that trailer's
Oh
awesome.
my god, dude! Ben Affleck is gonna whoop ass. I was nervous,
That was some
but that
straight up,
trailer it it convinced me. It looks so awesome.
that,
Good God.
that was some straight up like Arkham City shit.
Yeah,
The
Yep.
way he was humping around, like,
smashing people to the
because like
ground.
other movies, it's been like punching, like, okay, I believe Batman could do that, but this one was literally like Greg Capullo type style shit. Like, he's jumping, kicking one guy in the face, grabbing another guy, slamming that guy's face into like a crate while it lands, turns around, punches some guy, blocks behind him.
Attack
Just that
multiplier.
crazy. Yeah, exactly. They were literally pulling shit right out of like
Oh, it
Arkham
was so
Asylum,
awesome.
Arkham City.
It was so cool. The only part about that movie, beyond what we talked about, the trailer's kind of divulging too much. Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor kind of trips me out, and then Gal Gadot
Mhm.
as Wonder Woman. She just looks like a toothpick, and it's just
Well, here's
it's
what
too
we were
much for
saying.
me.
When watching Deadpool, you look at what's her name?
Vanessa?
Oh
No.
no,
I mean,
Gina.
Gina Carano.
Yeah,
That should have been
Angel
Wonder
Dust.
Woman. Like, why the fuck is that not
Yeah.
Wonder Woman? Like, I don't know
she's
why.
spot on.
I didn't think about it before, but it's like you look at her, it's like, dude, she's got the build, and unlike other people like Ronda Rousey who can't really act,
That dipshit.
Gina can actually act.
Yeah.
In all the movies I've all seen her in, she does pretty good. Like, so like, why? It's like that should have been Wonder Woman because you just look at, the Gal Gadot girl. It's like, she just looks like she's just so tiny and
So
I
tiny.
mean, she's tall, but she's like
She's so little.
skinny and just she's not really womanly, and she
Yeah.
doesn't possess that strong feel that like
She
you
looks like a
get.
12-year-old boy.
Yeah, you just don't have that strong feel you get when you like look at Wonder Woman in a comic book or anything
Oh God,
like that.
no, not at all.
I mean, hopefully she does good. I don't want to wish anything bad. Just like Jesse Eisenberg. Hopefully he just goes in there and you go, man, this guy was fucking awesome.
I'm
maybe
trusting
not-
Zack Snyder. I'm really trusting him.
Maybe not Kevin Spacey, but
I don't think Jesse Eisenberg's going to do a horrible job. I just think they're trying something different. What they're trying, I don't think it's for me. But I think there's enough in that movie that I'm going to like
hell
that I
yeah.
can overlook that. I really think, Spencer and I were talking about this, I really think The Rock would have made the perfect Lex Luthor.
yeah. I think I say
Rock,
Wonder Woman.
Really?
Sorry, I don't know why that was cross. It's like, well, The Rock is Wonder Woman.
The
Well,
Rock?
I guess I could see that too. It seems better than like what's her face in there right now.
He's got range.
Yeah, he does. But yeah,
Give him
but,
a black
think about
wig.
that. Like we talked about a couple episodes ago, like The Rock playing Lex Luthor.
Really? My thought.
Imagine him in a
Was
suit,
Bryan Cranston.
being like super like.
Well, Bryan Cranston, I think would also be another sweet one.
I think he'd be really good.
But like, if you think about kind of like modern Lex Luthor, where he's
Yeah.
kind of like both intelligence and strength, like the best a human can be.
That could, yeah.
I think The Rock would be a good example of that. Just him in a suit. He's got the shaved head. I mean, half the time people think Lex Luthor's black anyways, because when you look at him in the show, he's got big lips and he's darker skin and everything. Everybody always thinks and his voice is deep.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
So it's like, why not, dude? Like that would have been the way to go. The only thing is, it's kind of like how Man of Steel is, where my only kind of complaint to Zack Snyder sometimes is like sometimes he gets these kind of like things where he tries to change little things that like why do they need to be
It's
changed?
too much.
It's like the Jenny Olsen thing, like that
Oh,
in itself is
yeah.
already super racist because we're just erasing out fucking Irish people anymore, putting them in with like Indian and other race. It's one of those ones. It just bothers me.
Okay.
People do that thing where they think they're being like, we're trying to add diversity. Yeah, by taking out everybody who's fucking redhead. Like, what's wrong with people that are redhead? You know what I mean? Like, I know they get the bad end of the stick, but it doesn't mean you got to erase them out of time like you did with midgets.
Granted, they gave the leading lady role a redhead, but Lois Lane should.
But
be
she's not
dark hair, in
redhead
my
though. She's
opinion.
not like she's got like auburn hair. That's not the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like you look at fucking Ninja Turtles. You know?
Oh yeah,
It's like
that
you
was
got
Yeah.
terrible.
that is like Ireland's fucking hero for a New York
If they
girl.
put Megan Fox in there. Congratulations, Michael Bay.
I mean, granted, I will say that
Jackass.
Megan Fox, she almost impressed. Like, I mean, like maybe because I got such like low standards, she actually kind of impressed me. She did as good a job as she could do. Is she the best person for the role? No,
God, no.
but she did actually outact that I thought. Just like Jesse Eisenberg. I bet you he's one of those ones. He's totally not the right guy for the role, but I bet you he'll do 120%.
It wouldn't surprise me if they try to go, because like I noticed that like more recently they're trying to make like deeper cuts of the stuff. It wouldn't surprise me if that's Jesse Eisenberg's real hair in the movie, and then an explosion happens and he loses his hair. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Or he takes off like it's a wig, like fucking in the old Superman movies, which is always weird.
I don't think that's gonna happen. I think it's gonna, if they did, okay, kudos to them, making a little nod to the old ones. But I honestly think, because he did have red hair and it did go off an explosion, he hates Superman for that. Because he wasn't there to stop my baldness or whatever.
No,
so
I'm bald.
I had a full head of hair.
It was
It was
glorious.
luscious locks. You bastard.
It was like April O'Neil in 1989.
But I could see them doing something like that. Maybe they won't. But the whole thing that pissed me off about Jenny Olsen, like, I don't mind them changing the race of a character or even like the gender of a character, depending on the role of who it is. But I think it's when it's kind of like you erase everything that resembled that character. Like if they made Jenny Olsen, so if Jenny Olsen was like if she's in any way resembled Jimmy, like if it was even like a redheaded girl that happened to be a photographer, or even if Jimmy Olsen just happened to be in a Middle Eastern guy who just was still kind of bumbling around, but a photographer, or you could tell that was Jimmy.
Bow tie and glasses and shit, something.
Yeah, like if it, on a character like that, like I think like Larry Fishburne for Perry White's perfect.
Well, that's fine
I think
because
he nailed
like,
Perry
we're not
White.
out of regular white people. You know what I mean? Like, but Irish people get the fucking shaft anymore in movies. Like they're just getting minused out left and right. Nobody wants to fucking see an Irish person on screen anymore. I don't know why that is. But it is getting to a point where it's just like, dude, what's wrong with people with red hair? I mean, like, most people, I'm not even like I'm not like this pro like red hair person, but it's just like I see it happening and it bothers me. You know what I mean? Well, next thing you know, they're gonna make a fucking Spider-Man movie and Mary Jane's gonna have like black hair or something like that. Like, you'd be like, dude, what the fuck? Like, there we go, another fucking Irish character like wiped out of existence.
Oh well, I mean, we got a whole new slew of Mary Janes. They're probably gonna hold back on Mary Jane and throw like someone else in there, probably like a new character like Silk or something like that.
Yeah, well, that's another way to get rid of her. You throw another character in there and say like, no, we're not putting another fucking Irish person in here again. Fuck them.
We're gonna take a quick break right here.
Hey, I'm Executive Intern Pete from the Rob and Slim Show. These assholes get me wasted, bust my balls, make me shit in adult diapers, and yet I still come back every fucking week. I can't remember much, and I'll probably regret everything later on in life. But you can find these two schmucks, Rob and Slim, on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher. You guys get that?
But yeah, the Jenny Olsen thing, I didn't even fucking realize. I was like I was like at the very end, I was like, was that supposed to be fucking Jimmy Olsen? Like, where the, because I remember just going like, where the fuck is Jimmy Olsen? I'm pissed here because Jimmy Olsen's on the goddamn movie.
I assumed to be in the next one. Then I looked up on the like IMDb. It says Jenny Olsen. What the fuck? Then I went on Wikipedia. I was like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's just dumb to me because that character in no way resembles Jimmy because she's not a photographer. She's not Irish. She's not a guy. And she doesn't wear a bow tie. So it's just and she's not like bumbling and klutzy. Or if she is, we didn't get to see like. Well, I guess that's... Yeah, and if she wasn't, like maybe she did have a watch. Like, oh, there's one of them, but no. But if she was bumbling or klutzy, we didn't really get a chance to see her enough to be able to tell. So it was kind of like if she at least had like one or two of those traits, it'd be like, all right, whatever. But it just seems like what's the point of calling this character that if you're gonna like radically change her? And even if, like I said, I would have been fine if they changed his race and he still, or even his gender, and they still just like kept a few notable things. Like, okay, that is. But it's just when they change him so much, just like what's the fucking point?
Well, I just feel like that's the only thing sometimes Zack Snyder's doing in these movies is like. It's like, okay, Batman and Superman are perfect. But some of the other characters, like, it's almost like they're trying too hard to make them radically different. You know, as I said, Larry Fishburne as Perry White, that one's perfect. Like, there's no complaints there. You know, and I don't really feel like that's radically different. Like, really the only thing that's different is because he's a black guy. It's like, is that the only thing? It's like, he still feels like Perry White, though. You know what I mean? It's not like, well, here's Perry White, and he's flaming gay. You know, or something like that. You're like, well, that seems kind of weird. You know? But it's kind of like, I feel like Lex Luthor's kind of like that too, where it's like they're trying to be ballsy. Like instead of just giving like almost like what you want, they're trying to give you the exact opposite, hoping that you'll like it more or something like that. But that doesn't really always that pans out only seldomly, you know.
I think they're trying to make him more like kind of like a new, younger kind of millionaire, like we might see today, like the guy that runs Uber, or like or literally a Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah,
Someone
I
kind of like
feel like they
that.
literally do that and like they're like, well, we'll just get the guy from the Social Network. That's literally what a bunch of guys.
That's what happened.
You know, and it's like, okay, I see what they're doing, but we're not watching. If this was a movie just about Clark Kent as a man, not a superhero, I would be like, yeah, that's totally fine. But when you're doing a movie about Superman, come on, but whatever. As I said, like, I think he'll act 120%. It will never be like, what you think of as Lex Luthor, but
Who knows? Maybe we get lucky. Maybe like the third act, like she's like, "Well, Superman, you'll never stop." All of a sudden, these two big hands come in, crush his head. It's a robot, falls down. Fucking Dwayne Johnson reels in. That's my duplicate. I was at the gym the whole time while this thing was like in my place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so maybe they will. Maybe we'll finally get our surprises. The trailers won't ruin everything for us, or not ruin, but
I hope so. I really do.
I think that movie's just. I think aside from Aquaman, I think that trailer showed us just about everything we're gonna see for that movie. I mean, I still want to see it. I still.
Yeah, Aquaman's.
Yeah, Aquaman's supposed to have a little cameo, and technically Flash is supposed to have a cameo.
Yeah, it was just like a blur, and that was him running.
And it's like I already have the Flash TV show, so just a blur. Oh, okay.
It'd be ballsy though if they did just throw Grant Gustin in there, and that was your cameo. You'd be like, "Oh, dude, you guys are you're doing it."
Grant Gustin's awesome.
They really should just kind of. I mean, Flash is already there. They don't got to do the whole separate universe thing. I mean, Marvel's already doing the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Jessica Jones and Daredevil shows. They could literally just do the same thing with their DC stuff, just save some time.
Well, I feel like this, even if they did it where it's like, okay, it's not the exact same Flash as the TV show, but we're going to use the same actor playing Flash.
That would be cool.
That would be fine, because then that would at least get rid of some of the complexity stuff. I'm like, oh, well, you got to sort of watch the show to get this. Like, I think, or if they just made him like a simplified version, like, here's Barry Allen, this is his backstory, this is what he does now, boom, okay, you're up to speed.
Because I feel like he really embraces Barry Allen and the Flash as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
I think he does a really great job. So I'm really nervous about it. Ezra Miller, I think his name is the guy.
Ezra Miller,
the new one. I think I don't know a lot about him, but I feel like he's such a good thing now. Why fuck that up by trying something new? It's
just that stupid old-fashioned thing like TV and movies are not the same thing.
Too much.
And it's just like, get past that point where it's just like, you're all fucking storytelling entertainment. Like, doesn't make a goddamn difference if you're a comic book, a video game, or a movie. It's all the same fucking thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think that's one of those things that, like, it's going to I mean, I think it's really going to be one of those things when, like, the Flash movie comes out, if a Flash... Like, I think they... Look, don't get me wrong. Flash is one of my favorite characters, and I wouldn't mind seeing a big screen version of Flash. But I just saw his origin on television a little bit ago. Anytime they have a new movie or TV show introducing the Flash, they got to quickly sum up his origin somehow. So I feel like he might be a character that just kind of comes into other DC movies and not even get his own movie. Maybe he will get his own movie, or they got to do something like they're probably doing a Flash Green Lantern movie. So
Well, it'd be kind of, like, the thing to do is you could do like a Justice League movie, throw Grant Gustin in there, have a quick like recap, like at the very beginning of the movie, fucking explaining. For some reason, like, it just seems like they can't do it in serious movies. I don't know why that is. Like, in a comedy, in a stylized action movie, you could do one of those like fucking quickly show all the characters, explain their backstories, and be like, boom, you're caught up. Let's go on with the movie. But for some reason, in some movies, it's just like they feel like, I don't know if that's cheesy or that's wrong or it's too stylized or something. But that's what you should just do, is just say, like, here he is. This turned him into the Flash. Boom, 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 boom. And now he's here for the Justice League. Mm-hmm. Like, do we have to? I mean, like, you don't have to take like elements from the TV show that like you would only know if you watch the TV show, because that makes it kind of confusing. But even I think in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they do the thing where certain things might happen in the TV show, but in the movie they won't bring that in there just in case if somebody never watched the TV show, because they don't want to confuse people.
Yeah, I know in the New Avengers they don't really mention Coulson.
Yeah, because he died in the movie, but he came back in the show, but they don't want to confuse the audience.
Right. And then
if he came back in the movie, be like, the fuck?
And then the Inhuman things isn't spoken of in the Avengers, because that's what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is all about.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they're hiding like that. And then Daisy Johnson, Quake, is never mentioned, but she's in the show. So I definitely see that they're trying to keep the two separate, but still involve each other at the same time.
But that's where I feel like you could throw Flash and Arrow easily into the Avengers, or not into the Avengers, but into the Justice League, and just be like, sum them up quickly, and just be like, hey, well, here they are here. They're just only going to interact with whatever's going on in this movie, and that's it. But I don't know. Mm-hmm. There's still time. Maybe they will kind of like change their mind and figure that out, but I don't know. We can only hope.
We can. I don't know. I think these upcoming movies will be good. I mean, I got to share this real quick. I mean, I don't want to drag on too long because I know we're kind of pushing the limit here, but I want to share this real quick. I had a weird dream last night, and it was one of those things where we went to go see, you and me, Spencer, went to go see Batman versus Superman, and a lot of hate on the movie, you know, kind of like how a lot of hate for Man of Steel. Like, I think we're some of the only defenders. Kaiden, did you like Man of Steel?
I did.
You didn't? Okay, cool. So we're like one of the 3 defenders of Man of Steel here.
I hated Brandon Routh as Superman, so seeing the new one, I really enjoyed it a lot. The only thing I didn't like was Amy Adams as
Well, because she just doesn't feel like you're watching Lois Lane. You feel like you're watching. You don't feel like you're watching like Lana Lane, if anything.
No,
she would have been a good Lana. Yeah.
It was a great movie. I loved it.
She seemed like any other kind of like damsel in distress kind of character with a few kind of like spunky kind of lines, but beyond that though, it was just like, all right, well, she didn't feel like Lois, but you got a point. She didn't feel more like Lana. But anyway,
Amy Adams is not bad, but it goes back to like the Jenny Olsen and all that stuff. It just feels like you're changing things too much. It's just like,
it's the same character. Almost.
Just go get a fucking Italian actress. How hard is that to find? Is that hard? You know, it's that thing of trying to be ballsy by being different, but it's just one of those ones like don't mess with a classic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like getting a Model T and painting a fucking like, you know. Like hippie paint job all over it. You know, it's like you're just gonna piss people off.
Well, anyway, so I have this is really stupid, but I just gotta share this. I had a dream. We went to go see Batman vs Superman, and half the movie was the Justice League in like this douchey hipster bar doing slam poetry on each other. And then just sitting there, just kind of like, how am I going to defend this? I can't really, because we were like, oh yeah, you fucking DC fans, and I was like, how the fuck am I going to defend this? Just like, I
never saw it. That's my defense.
I like how that's the fear of the dream more than anything else. Is how am I going?
I woke up in cold sweat, like, no.
You can't do this to me. Like, I can't leave this theater. There's nowhere I can go.
I can't hide my face. I'm living here forever.
I'll be shutting.
I'll just hide under the seats and scour for popcorn and soda.
Please, I'm so hungry.
Please, let me have a bite off your hot dog.
It's been 16 weeks.
Guy starts to zip in his pants. He's like, I guess that will do. I can't be judgmental now.
Damn you, DC.
I just like, yeah, that's that guy. He just lives under the seats. He refused to leave. You know.
He said he can't be seen in the outside world anymore.
I was a lawyer once with a family.
I haven't seen that family in 10 years.
We were gonna call the cops on him, but we realized he literally eats all the food off the floor.
We literally have not had. We have never cleaned this theater in 10 years, and it's in pristine. Yeah.
It's apparently very OCD. He has to clean it himself. He's in there for too long.
And he'll eat every speck of popcorn and Mike and Ike off the ground.
He doesn't even leave him a cot. He doesn't even sleep on the chairs. He just like literally lays on the ground. He says that's all he deserves.
That's a pretty funny dream though.
Yeah, I'm so glad it was a dream. I literally just woke up like, no!
Screaming at the top of your lungs.
As if like Freddy Krueger was coming after me or some shit.
I had a dream like the other night where like there was literally like all sorts of like, I want to say there was guys like chainsaws, like just like a Resident Evil thing, but it was not like a scary dream. I don't really remember a whole lot about it, but it was strange. It was like I woke up kind of going, huh? When that stuff's not scary to you, what the fuck's going on?
They just had chainsaws, just saying, "Hey man, what's up?"
The guys running around with chainsaws, and I remember like dodging them and stuff like that. Like it was like almost like a Resident Evil like dream. But it wasn't scary, which is like fucking weird. Sometimes like it's like that's all I can remember. I just remember like bits and pieces of dreams if I remember them. I mostly don't even have dreams very often, so when I do have them, it's fucking weird. But it
You're
was
just like, I wish I could be like Leon, like that.
yeah, exactly. Sometimes I just wish I wish I could have dreams. Like a lot of times I'll go to bed and just like I just wake up. It's like, oh, not like those like fast ones, but just like you just.
No, I get you. Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there. No, it was, yeah.
But that's probably a good place to wrap it all up with. We had lots of good talk for quite some time. But Deadpool was fucking awesome. No complaints there. I mean, even I guess if Bob's your only surprise, well, that's a good enough surprise.
It's still pretty damn good.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But till then, check out oldmanorange.com for more podcasts, cartoons, music, and more. And I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunigan.
I'm Kaiden Grossi.
And we will see you some other time.
Later.
Thanks for listening to the Old Man Orange podcast. Check out our website at oldmanorange.com for even more podcasts, cartoons, videos, music, and more. Send us an email at oldmanorangepodcast@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe, share, rate, and review us on iTunes, Podomatic, or any of the other fine sites we might be located on. If you want to help out even more, click on the Amazon or GameStop links on our webpage before you make any purchases there. It won't cost you a penny, but it sends us a little something our way. Thanks again, and tune in next week for more Old Man Orange Podcast.